If you're a driven, active person who wants to reach and pursue a higher quality life with some ambition, then guess what? This podcast is for you. This is the Driven Athlete Podcast. What's up, y'all? It's your man, Dr. Kyle. Welcome back to the Driven Athlete Podcast. We got a really cool guest with us, Jackson Worley, the local legend, football player. Thanks for coming in, man.
Thanks for having me, for sure. I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. I know that you're a busy dude. You're home for summer for a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Right. Tell us where you're at school now, what you're playing.
For sure. Yeah, thanks for having me on, for sure. And Troy University is where I'm at right now, playing football. So smaller D1 school in Alabama right now.
Yeah.
So I was up there my first semester, was done in the fall, and then just got done in the spring ball. So home for a little bit now.
Cool. So you just finished your freshman year.
Yes, sir.
At a major D1 program, which is really cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fun experience so far?
It's been a really interesting experience, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of ups and downs, but it's been a good learning process, for sure. Yeah, because you learn a lot about yourself, especially going away, because mom and dad are not there.
Yeah, totally.
On your own.
It's a big change.
Totally.
Yeah.
So.
And you're from, so we originally met because, I coached with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I coached you at King's Academy in Wellington, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you played football there. And then you got a lot bigger. We're getting healthy,
yes,
right?
Sir.
Getting some D1 looks, and then was able to sign with Troy, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I share your story with people. I don't mention your name, of course, keep things confidential, of just like, there is hope if there's a major issue going on, right? Which you've elected to share with everybody, right? On this podcast.
Yes, sir.
We could talk about it to help encourage other people. But anyway, just an encouraging statement of like, even though these challenging things are going on, that doesn't mean that you're forever doomed. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
totally.
We can improve stuff and like work on stuff and like get things better and gradually progress. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Which for you has been really cool, you know, to now D1 football player, man. It's awesome.
Yes,
Tight
sir.
end, right?
Mm-hmm.
So first year is done. Compared to high school, how has the scheduling been and like practices and meetings and school and all this stuff?
So I'd say the biggest difference probably is like high school, the summertime is like the big, like be up at this time, go to workouts early in the morning. You're done at 10 o'clock, 8 to 10 o'clock was kind of the time we did in the summer. And then once you get to the fall, you're doing a weight training class sometime in the afternoon, then practice. College was like, you're up 6 o'clock. We're at the field through summer. We're done at a certain time. Go back in the afternoon. We have more meetings. And then the fall time, we were up at 5 o'clock. And then we had the workouts. And then we had some meetings and then practice. So It's a lot more busy, I would say that.
So more structured schedule. Like
Totally.
More military style.
I would say that.
Yeah. That's what I've heard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And my lower level, because I played D2 football, my experience was somewhat similar, probably not as intense, But so you guys had workouts first thing in the morning for the fall semester,
Right.
and summer. You would work out first thing in the morning, and then you would have meetings after that,
Right.
and then you would have classes in the fall, and then after that in the afternoon you had practice.
Yes, sir. That's exactly right.
So then what time would you get done
With practice?
Yeah.
Probably around, I would say 6 o'clock, 5:30ish.
Okay.
So, and then after that, it's homework and then some extra work if you want to do that.
Yeah.
And then repeat.
Eat some food.
Eat some food.
Yeah. Crush food for
Yeah,
sure.
we got to put the weight on.
Yeah, totally, man. That's interesting. I mean, it makes sense. I believe it. So summertime, right? You're going to go back to Troy for summer workouts in like a month, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Right now it's May. So you have like a month. We're doing rehab stuff and getting your body right? Doing your own workouts, going back to King's Academy today to see some people and work out.
Yes, sir.
So they're going to go back for workouts in June. And the structure is the same as last summer where it's like 6 a.m., wake up, workout first, and then go back and have lunch, come back and have football meetings or conditioning and stuff.
Well, we haven't gotten the schedule yet, but that's what we did last year. I would assume it's probably really similar. Just because, you get different coaches coming in, it's probably going to be around the same schedule and just different types of workouts, the way we do stuff. But Coach Parker, our head coach, and he came from offense coordinator at Notre Dame. He's come in and he's carried the culture over. We've at Troy won back-to-back Sun Belt championships. So
nice.
He's come in and I think we're gonna do it again. He's set a great culture, continuing that. So I think it'll probably be really similar to what we did last year.
What kind of culture would you describe it to be like?
I'd say tough for sure. I think it's a tough culture. And everyone cares for each other, respects each other, and we're hardworking. I would definitely say that. Just from the workouts and just, even just doing spring ball, I think we've come a long way since just beginning of January.
Cool.
So
that's awesome. So Sunbelt champs is the goal. Fall 2024.
Absolutely.
Who's going to be your biggest challenge?
I don't pick one team. I think, it's 1 week at a time and we just take it like that. So
that's great. That's awesome, man. If somebody were to challenge the Sun Belt and be like, who'd be the runner up, do you think?
I don't know. I don't want to say teams, but I think everyone is in that conference. It's a good conference, competitive. Everyone brings it every single week. There's no weeks off. Yeah. You have to be ready every single week. So
cool. Good. I like your answer. Doesn't matter. We're going to every week to week.
Exactly.
That's awesome, man. That's cool. Culture wise, practice structure, practice intensity compared to high school. What's it like?
Yeah. Let's see. So I would say it's probably like the duration's a little bit. It's not as long, I don't think, just because high school, a lot of guys, well, at least at Kings, we'd have guys playing on both sides of the ball. So everyone is kind of just working for those 2 hours, and like you get some breaks here and there. Some people are subbing in and out. Like college, I'm a tight end. I'm just with the offense the whole time. So
you're super focused and specialized.
Locked in there. There's more indie time. There's more time for just to focus on that because offense and defense are split.
Yeah. So it keeps things more efficient time-wise.
Right. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Totally does. So
it's a lot more focused and specialized, streamlined for your particular specific position.
Yes, sir.
Versus like, well, now it's time to shift gears and practice defense, right? Or like go over our defensive stuff.
Right. There's more time to just lock in on just offense. So it doesn't need to be as long.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. What about conditioning? Do you guys do a lot of conditioning at practice, or is it like earlier in the day in your workouts?
I'd say the conditioning was more in the before spring ball started. The only time we really did the conditioning work is like, you mess up or something, like get on the line.
Like a punishment.
Time to run. Yeah. Time to run.
Time to pick it up. Yeah.
Exactly.
Because that's always a question, it's like, oh man, major team, like it's got to be very intense and workouts and stuff. So it definitely sounds very structured. They set you guys up for success for sure. They don't want to overwork you guys, I would assume, right?
For sure. I mean, the practice is intense though. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I've only been able to do a few just due to injuries in the fall time. But from what I saw in the spring and what I've done in the fall, it's very intense. Yeah. So there's really no need to, do some half gassers or, 60-yard sprints or anything like that at the end of practice, because you're getting your conditioning while you're doing the practice.
Gotcha. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What about classes?
Like compared to high school?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not as long. Like not as many classes, I should say. Because high school, you go all day from sometimes 8 o'clock to 3 in the afternoon. And then college, you just got, my spring semester, I had 3 classes, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Tuesday, Thursday, I had no classes.
Nice. You can focus on football. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And your workouts and stuff. What about nutrition? What eating? Do the coaches really harp on you guys for making sure you eat enough, eat the right stuff?
Yeah, they do. They make some weight gain shakes. They did that last year too. The strength staff we have now with Coach Bauer, he's done a good job giving us the stuff that we need to eat and stuff to make sure that we're ready to be on the field. So, cool. But yeah, the coaches always be texting like, make sure you eat something, get some extra calories in. So
yeah, good. That's good, because you put so much energy for everything you guys do. You have to replenish that, and y'all are growing so much still too. Putting on weight, weightlifting, practice, all that stuff.
Was it like that for you at Quincy?
Good question. So kind of. It was definitely a lot more. From what you're describing, fall camp was definitely intense. Training camp. Training camp is intense. It's you're living, eating, breathing, sleeping football from 6 a.m. till 6 p.m., and you're so tired, you just go to bed at 7. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there, with it being a lower level D2 program, people, the playmakers that took it intense, that took it seriously, they would obviously play more and excel more, Mm-hmm. So it's just on you, if you want to be a playmaker and be a starter and do well, then it's ultimately on you to put the work and the effort in. You know what I mean?
Totally.
I would imagine similar for you guys, just more coaching staff and checking in and checking up on kids.
Yeah,
Right.
pretty much. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. But anyway, yeah, that's, and there were definitely a lot of athletes and players on our team that didn't take it seriously, and then they would complain that they weren't playing.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you expect?
You definitely got to put the work in.
You got to put some work
time.
in, And if like you're not performing, what makes you think that you're all of a sudden going to be super respected and then just like put it in the game or in practice?
Right.
They'd be bummed and upset that they're not like getting reps, in practice with the ones or second string, and they're just like getting skipped over, And I'm like, well, what do you expect?
Totally.
You gotta show the coaches what you could do. You got to show up and have a good attitude, put some good effort in, do the workouts, get bigger and stronger. And if you come back overweight, or like sloppy and then not in the best physical condition, is that going to impress the coaches to be like, you know what? I still believe in you. It's like, well, so far what I've seen, I'm not really super confident that you can like pull your weight in the game, in practice.
It's consistency.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Just being consistent, just doing the work, extra work as well on your own. Because if you just do what's required, then it's like, you're not going to get too far.
Just meeting minimum standards.
Exactly.
That's no, totally, man. And I think it applies with almost everything,
Mm-hmm.
What school wise, what subjects seem to interest you the most?
I'd say, good question. I'd probably say it's not a class that I've done like with the university, I guess, but it's more so with the strength staff. We have these things called strength labs, and it's where our head strength coach and our assistant strength coach will take, the other assistant strength coaches, and then we'll go and sit down. They invite players in, and they'll go over different types of training methods that they've used in the past, just educate us on that. And I found that to be the most interesting one. But so exercise science, strength conditioning, I guess you could say
that realm.
I haven't taken any actual like class with like that.
Yeah. Well, not yet.
Not yet.
Just finish your freshman year, you'll get there.
Exactly. But the ones that we've done on the side, that's been the thing that's interested me the most.
That's cool. And that's always, I feel like, for young student athletes that are finding their direction of like what academic direction they want to go, the little experiences like that are huge. That's what shapes like, oh, that's cool. That's interesting. I didn't even know that was a thing. And then they like dive more into that little subject and they go a little bit further and then they continue that path and they just like, it's because they're interested in it and they're good at it or they like it naturally. Anyway, those little like random internship observation opportunities or just extra things like that's interesting.
Right.
I would definitely recommend to like continue pursuing that path,
For sure. Yeah. I'll probably this next year I might take some more classes in that area just because just going in those, sitting down in those little meetings has interested me a ton.
Yeah,
so.
there you go. That's the answer. That's it. That's we will spike the interest in the direction.
For sure.
That's cool. So describe like life during season in the fall. You're saying you have workouts before school or like early in the morning.
Right.
So you're waking up at what time? Like you said 5?
That was last year. Yeah, we had these things called the Warrior Group, and that was with all like the freshmen, younger players would go in that. Then the older guys would come in. Offense, we'd wake up at 5, and then our workout would start at 5:50.
Okay.
And then the older group would come in at 6:50 and then 7:50. So we were like, first year, you got to, put in the hours. You got to do what you got to do.
So the upperclassmen get the privileges of coming in later to sleep in more.
Yep. Yes, sir.
That's understandable. They earned it.
Yeah, totally. And then we'd have class, like I said, and then the meetings and then practice. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay. And then you'd be done. Then you would study, review some notes and stuff, crush food, and then wake up and do it again.
For sure.
What about weekends? Because games on Saturdays, right? So would you have walkthroughs in on Fridays, I would assume?
Yes, sir.
So we'll describe walkthrough day.
It's definitely not as intense, obviously. We just walk out with helmets and then the cleats. We call them run-throughs. That's what we called them last year. So,
I like that better than walkthroughs.
Yeah, because walkthroughs just like, hey, we're just here to do it. But then the run-through, we would just kind of, we go through the stretch, we go through the routine, and then we would we'd split offense, defense, run through some plays there, just make sure, like basically just make sure everything's ready to go for the game on Saturday.
Yeah.
So that's what those were like. They lasted maybe about an hour hour, 10 minutes, something like that.
Gotcha.
So, and then Saturday, I didn't get to experience this at all because, the injuries, but they would, everyone would go on Friday night to the hotel and then, wake up Saturday game day, arrive on the bus and then, go play. And then Sundays, we'd have like just a wellness check or something like that. And then some film
At the training room.
and then some film afterwards.
Gotcha.
So,
And then after that, you have like the rest of the day to chill, recover,
yes, sir.
eat some more food,
Eat.
and then start over again on Monday.
Yep, that's the theme. College is eat.
Yeah, totally.
Make sure.
And then the season for you guys, you have how many regular season games did you guys have last season? It's usually 12.
Well, we finished 11-3, so we had one bowl game and then the conference championship.
Okay.
So regular season
12. Yeah, and then 2 playoff or like 2 like postseason stuff.
Right.
Who'd y'all play in the bowl game?
We played Duke.
That's right.
Birmingham Bowl.
Yeah, that was good, man. Y'all played good.
Yeah, we did. Bowl week was interesting. It was, there's definitely some perks you get to it. You get to, it's not like a game week per se, just because there's, you're in a different place that, you go out to special spots to eat and stuff like that. So it's definitely fun though.
It's a cool experience. And all you guys hanging out like at the hotel and stuff.
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
That's really cool. Well, okay. So describe then, you were a highly recruited coming out of high school, tight end for now to Troy. I remember meeting the tight end coach at Troy.
Yes, sir.
This was 2 years ago, right? This was 2022 season. We're going into fall camp, right? You went for summer workouts and then fall camp started, right? And then you tore your ACL, is that correct?
Yeah, so I think it was like 5 days or maybe a week and a half, I think it was.
A couple weeks into the camp.
And then that happened, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And what happened? You were cutting during running a route?
Yeah, just cut wrong.
Yeah.
Just like something crazy, just a freak accident.
Yeah.
But I've definitely, the recovery process, I've learned a lot. Definitely, like, you can get better at little stuff. You don't have to just sit around and do nothing. You can, throw a tennis ball around, work on hand-eye coordination, stretch a little bit once you're cleared to do that, mobilize. So
yeah. So the surgery was August of last year. Is that right?
Right.
So we're coming up on like 10 months. How's it you feeling now?
A lot better. I mean, it's cool to see the progress and how it works. Like a month ago or 2 months ago, definitely wouldn't be doing the stuff I'm able to do now. So
yeah. So then you'll come in this coming season as a medical redshirt freshman, and then full go.
Right.
As long as you're pain free and like you're doing your thing, right? You can participate.
Yeah.
Which is what we're here now for, right?
Exactly.
We'll work on some stuff to get you right, and then set you up for treatment when you go back to school with your trainer and the other physical therapists that are in the area, right?
Yes, sir.
And then get you 100%. So rehab wise, right? Through the fall semester and then spring semester, when would you go get treatment?
Like we said, when I get treatment?
When, yeah.
Well, fall, it was a little different in fall because the injury had just happened. So I would say just sometime in the morning around maybe 8 to 9:30ish, somewhere around there. And then I have some physical therapy in the afternoon on certain days. I think like twice a week, I think it was.
Okay.
So I think it was like Tuesday, Thursday. Go up in there.
Yeah.
Do that for maybe an hour and a half. From like 1 to 2, maybe something like that.
So you're getting, every day you're going to the trainer pretty much.
Oh yeah.
And then twice a week, also physical therapy.
Right.
So you're going sometimes twice a day, but also every day.
Right. That's how it started out. And then it just kind of slowly backs down. Then it's once a week at physical therapy. And then it's like just in the training room.
Yeah.
And then now it's just, start running again, start running routes, that type of thing.
Nice. So now we're at the point you're running some agility stuff, some impact things like plyometrics, right? And then progressing from there.
Absolutely.
That's good. So let's talk about when I first met you, which was you were a junior, or actually you were finishing your sophomore year in high school.
Right. Yeah. Springtime.
Going spring ball. And that was the first year the first moment I was coaching with Kings. And that's when I met you on the sideline because you were hobbling around.
Right.
Right. And I appreciate you sharing your story. Right. So if you you want me to explain?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I remember, and you tell me this is accurate. What I remember you saying, you just had that this was in like April. So December of that previous year, you were having a lot of back pain, right?
Yeah.
And they discovered a unstable spondylolisthesis, which is, for the folks that you guys listening, it's when one vertebrae, usually the lowest one, L5, sometimes L4, depending on the situation, migrates more forward or anteriorly, and it can be unstable. And there's a risk for a lot of the neural structures to get involved with like the spinal cord and other nerve roots, and of course, all the soft tissue that connects there and the muscle tissue, and all that stuff can get really painful. And it's like, it's not going away. So for a young athlete where they're very mobile, or maybe hypermobile in some areas, there's a high risk for spondylolisthesis to just start developing, and then it can worsen. And at the very worst end, it can have a fracture, which is at the pars intraarticularis, which is a landmark within the vertebrae, and then the spinal cord can be at risk, right? So from my understanding, you had an unstable spondylolisthesis at L5, and they fused L4, 5, and S1.
Yep.
Okay. And then after that, that was in December of 20.
That was 2020.
2020.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then come April, when I met you, in the meantime, you had knee pain and you had a meniscus surgery.
Yeah, they cleaned out my left knee. That's what it was. There was some stuff floating around, so they cleaned it out.
Okay, so you had a major fusion, multi-level back fusion in December, and then a left knee scope a couple months later.
Right.
So when I met you and I was like, here's this tall dude, like I heard he's like a really great athlete, and he's just like kind of like hobbling around the sideline, and I'm like, so I was talking to you, right? And you explained all that stuff. I was like, what,
Right.
I was like, what, are you getting treatment? He's like, well, it still hurts. I can't really do this. So I'm still having some nerve referred pain, which is a very common thing after a major back surgery, to have referred residual nerve pain issues, pain irritation. And your left knee was bothering you. It was just a week or two, right? Which is normal after surgery. So your left knee was bum and your back was still giving you pain and nerve pain. Right. And you're like, I want to play football. And I'm like, this is tough.
Right.
Hey, I'll do everything I can to help, of course, because we live vicariously through our patients, because we played sports in the past and we want to see people fulfill and get back to this crushing sports, of course, and playing and not be hobbled by injuries. So I spoke to your mom, explained the issue again, more details about it. And then we started working together that summer. Right. And you were like, Coach Wolf said, I want to play, man. I want to play this fall. And I'm like, oh, you're at a lot of pain, like, well, let's wean into this and see how it goes. I'm not going to say no, of course. We want you to play. That's the goal. I just don't want to set unrealistic expectations, because your knee was also giving you trouble. And your other knee was still giving you some trouble, right?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. And they're debating a surgery on that knee. And I was like, dude, wait. Just wait.
I remember that.
There's some compensation things going on. Your right knee could be compensating because your left knee weakness and your back pain. Let's just work on some stuff. See where it goes, right? Let's not jump on the table yet for knee surgery again. But anyway, dude, like, you were doing really well, started noticing improvements pretty quickly. And if I remember correctly, you played in the second game of the season.
Yeah.
You dressed out in the first game.
I played special teams actually that first game.
Oh, you did play special teams?
Kickoff return. I remember that.
Dude, that's all even better. So you played.
Right.
And you did well. I think you were the leading receiver that season.
Something like that, yeah.
I remember specifically your first game that you played offense, but more purposefully, was the second game of the season, and we were away, I think, at
Somerset.
Yeah. And you had like a kick return for like 50 yards or something, trucked some guy at the end. You had a fumble recovery and a touchdown and a couple receptions.
Right.
And I was like, dude, we're back. This is awesome. I remember looking at your parents on the sideline and just being like, high five, sick.
It was awesome.
But anyway, so then you did well that season, right? You had some ups and downs, of course, things like come and go, pain, whatever. What do you remember about that season?
What do you say?
What do you remember about that season?
My junior season?
Junior year.
Yeah, like you said, it was some ups and downs for sure. And, I got to give it to you for sure, just because, you helped me out so much during that season.
I appreciate that.
I definitely, I say this, I don't know if I would have been able to play if I didn't come here. So, and y'all helped me out a ton. So thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate that.
But
we're just glad to help.
Yeah.
Because we, like I said, we live vicariously through our patients, and we man, there's no reason why like a otherwise healthy young athlete can fix to work on some stuff to get back, you know what I mean, to playing some at least, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's usually a solution. Things don't hurt for no reason. Like we got to figure this out, you know?
Right.
But anyway,
But that season, it started out, kind of slow. I think we had talked about, coming back maybe week 8 or something like that,
Like
week 7, halfway through the season.
Yeah.
We'll be full speed by then. And then, like you said, the week 2, week 1, we're back at it. So, and, I have to give praise, Jesus as well. Just, I think during that time, like you said, the ups and downs and just putting my faith in him. And, my dad always says, work like it depends on you and pray like it depends on God. So I think that was definitely something that helped me out that season.
That's awesome. That's cool. I remember the very last game of the season, we lost. It was a playoff game, if I remember. Or it was like to go into the playoffs, and we didn't.
Yeah,
we missed the playoff.
Benjamin, I think it was.
Oh, they made the second last game of the season, but you had some back. You were doing well. You were crushing it, and then we noticed that you were limping, but you kept playing. You didn't say anything. And you had like a reception at the end of the game, and like you were like off. You were like done. Your back was hurt. But I remember being like, man, this guy's a warrior, But anyway, so you played the whole season, dude, and it was awesome, right? So then I'm like, all right, this spring, let's just work on, let's just heal, let's recover, stabilize everything, the heck out of everything, work on all these mechanical compensations and work out, get strong, right? And build up because you have one more season. Right. Your senior year. And this is where like, you came off a really good season your junior. If you have aspirations, which you told me to play college football, I'm like, dude, we need to focus, and like, be mindful to not like set the stage for things to get worse, you know what I mean? Or just relapse, of course. And you did, right? You did really good. And then the next season was senior year, did really well again, battled some ankle stuff, some back stuff occasionally, but did well enough and opened some eyes, right? To get some talks with some schools, right?
For sure.
Well, besides Troy, who else was chatting with you?
I mean, I chatted with a couple other schools, but Troy was my only offer. So I was very, very blessed when that opportunity came. And I think that was back in June when that offer was. And so we had talked about it for end of June, end of July, and then committed like July 31st, I think it was.
With the earliest you could verbally commit.
Mm-hmm.
Going into your senior year.
Going into the senior year.
You were committed to Troy before you even started your football season.
Right.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, very blessed, very thankful for that, though.
That's cool, man. It's a dream, dude. It's a dream. Congrats.
Well,
so now you're there, right?
Right.
Setbacks happen. ACL tear doesn't mean you're done forever. Like rehab the heck out of it, which you are, and then maintain some hope, right? And some optimism.
Absolutely.
And then work through it, right?
That's life. That's how it goes. Yeah. So, but I've definitely learned a lot, and I'm very thankful for, everything that's happened, the ups and downs. So I've learned a lot from it. So
that's cool, man. I think the ultimate win too is like these experiences, which are hard and challenging, taking them for what they are, of course, because it's ultimately going to help fuel your life in the future. Right. If I could speak to other young athletes, right, that are in high school or whatever, debating like, well, do I play college sports or not? I'm like, dude, do it, because it's yielding character traits that have to be forged, and earned that will carry you for sure, and help you ascend in whatever direction, career path you go in the future of like hard work, discipline, grit, consistency, like you mentioned, for sure. Willingness to do things that other people are unwilling to do. It's going to set you apart for your career and for everything. And also, parenting, right? When you have kids in the future, right? As a role model for your kids, ascending in your career, professionally, pursuing challenging things, your own fitness and workout programs as you continue to age, right? Like I'm, mid 30s now. And like, I want to really focus on that, for all those same reasons. And some of the stuff I remember in college has trickled into that. It's been the foundation of like all those character traits that I hope to, project, you know what I mean? But anyway, so that's awesome, man. Like it's only going to help you in the future.
Absolutely.
All right. So this, here's my question, right? Cause you did it. You got a D1 scholarship. You're there. What recommendations would you have for high school kids playing sports now, basketball, football, baseball, whatever, right? What would you recommend if they have aspirations to play college sports?
Like I said, first, consistency, that's for sure. But just not to get down, like even if you're, not where you want to be at the moment, whether that be for injury or if you need to work on a skill more, I would say stick to it and just don't give up at all. That's for sure. Because, I mean, life will hit you, but as long as you stay the course, keep your faith right, and put God first, I think everything works out in your favor if that you do that. So
that's awesome. I agree with all that. I
yeah,
think that's totally true. And the consistency, right? Just keep working.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just one more day. That's what I've always heard in the past too.
Yeah, we have a core value at Troy. We call it compete, and what's tied to it is go get one more. So, and that applies for everything. Like if we're doing sprints, go get one more. If you're tired and there's one more route to run, go get one more. That's something that Coach Parker has told us there, and I think it's very true. So
love that. That's awesome. I imagine I remember in college, fatigue, right? Just being tired. I'm like, I can't sleep enough.
Right.
Naps were gathered at all times, at any time possible.
That is one thing I've learned in college. I never napped in high school.
Yeah.
Never did. And then I get to college and it's like anytime you can get a 20-minute nap, 30-minute nap, it's like, I'm taking it.
I'm out. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. I would get, yeah. So you recommend power naps?
I would say 20, 30 minutes I think is good.
Yeah.
I would only do it if I was like in between class, if I had the time.
Yeah.
But most days I couldn't. So if I had the opportunity, I would take it. But yeah.
I remember coming between classes, if I had like a class on this side of campus and the other side of campus and I was able to like in between go to my dorm or something like that.
Right.
I would like get a snack and I'm like, I have 10 minutes. I'm laying down. I'm taking a nap. I will set my alarm for 9.5 minutes. I'm taking a nap,
Right. Yeah. And I have this little bike at Troy. So like a little electric bike. So I'm going from class to class. And then like you said, if you have like a, few minutes, 20 minutes, it's like, I'm riding back real quick.
Yeah. I'm going to lay down.
Yeah.
Fall asleep. Those are the best naps, It's like if you're very tired and like just make it happen real quick, I always felt pretty good after
it refuels you.
Yeah.
I think it does. Yeah.
Yeah. So napping for sure. Naps. That's something you recommend.
Yeah. 20 minutes. Yeah.
I definitely napped in high school for sure.
Really?
Occasionally in class. I'm sorry. But I could get home, if I like had, if I got out of school early, I'd go home and I would grab lunch real quick and I'd nap for an hour.
Right.
And then go back to school for practice. I was definitely a napper.
Yeah. In high school, did you play? I know you've played football, I think basketball, and then volleyball as well.
Yeah, and baseball.
Baseball. Dang.
So I was fortunate. Yeah, I mean, so I played my junior year. I was battling some back issues. See, this is where all this motivation comes from. My enthusiasm and passion to helping like athletes and active people in general. Right. Starting in late middle school, I had battled Osgood-Schlatter's disease is what it's called. It's just growing pains, right? And it's just like a knee pain. And my knees always hurt and they were super tender and sensitive. And I was told there's nothing to do about it, which there is. You can work on stability and mechanics and like work on stuff to make it less aggressive or make the situation worse. But I just didn't know that. I didn't know. So I just powered through, right? Mm-hmm. So I battled knee issues, just knee pain. It just bothered me. I was hobbling around. And then sophomore year in high school, I had battled some intermittent back issues. It seemed like sacroiliac joint instability and like low back hypermobility.
Okay.
Super fixable. We fix that with kids all the time, right? You're one of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
SIJ gets involved. And I just was hobbling around. I missed half of my JV basketball season as a sophomore because my back was bothering me. And I'd be in there in the weight room because I was like, I'm getting behind. I want to work on some stuff.
Right.
And I'll do bench. I'll do upper body stuff. Coaches are like, what are you doing, Volstead? Like if your back hurts so much, then how can you work out? And I'm like, dude, I'm not doing lower body. It just hurts when I sprint, So I wasn't getting, there's no benefit of the doubt, And I'm like, I'm like trying to be a hard worker and like get after it. And then I'm getting flack for it. You know what I mean? It's
right.
like, you must be faking it. I was like, dude, do you think I'm faking it? So anyway, so then I battled back issues like that. Junior year, same intermittent back stuff would come and go. And still occasional knee issues. But that's definitely a lot better. My growing pains were pretty much gone at that point.
Okay.
It was my back. And then senior year, same thing. Battled some back stuff, but fortunately I was pretty healthy my whole senior year. So anyway, with all being said, my junior year I played football. We won the state championship that year. Season went pretty deep. and I was battling back stuff. So I did not play basketball that year, and I waited until baseball season and I played baseball. I was a middle relief pitcher.
Okay. Yeah, the long arm. I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
And then my senior year, I played football again. We didn't go as deep. I was able to play basketball, so I played basketball that year right after football. Just jumped right into it. And then I decided to play volleyball instead of baseball my senior year.
That's what that was. Okay.
Yeah. So I lettered in all 4 varsity sports. Like I played 2 my junior year. I decided to not do baseball my senior year. And I played volleyball instead. And the reason was because I had some buddies and friends that were playing volleyball, and I was like, it could be more fun. I didn't really want to just be a relief pitcher. I was like, well, let me do volleyball. I had played in middle school, so I had the foundations. And I went to tryouts, and a really influential coach who recently passed, unfortunately, he was a big influence. He at tryouts he's like, dude, if you let me work with you, I'll get you a D1 scholarship in volleyball. At this time, I was like 6'5". I was like 195. I was thin, slender, skinny. But I was athletic. I could jump, and I could hit. So the guy was like, dude, if you let me work with you, I'll get you a D1 scholarship. And he did. Yeah. I got after it. I worked hard and I practiced everything you're describing. This coach he believed in me and he saw something in me, and I really appreciated that. And I had been getting recruited for football because I did well for that senior year in football. So I was looking at schools that would let me do both. I was like, why not play both?
Yeah.
So I needed to find, it was a narrow gap because I was like, they need to have a football program and a men's volleyball. Men's volleyball is not exactly super popular compared to baseball or football or basketball.
Especially back then, right? Because I don't think it was, it's not too popular now, but
it's still not popular. Yeah. Not as much. You know what I mean? Right. It's definitely a little more, but there's hubs. There's like the New England area, like Penn State as an example, is a powerhouse in men's volleyball. So the New England up there's Midwest, Illinois, Missouri, Ohio, and some Indiana. And then the West Coast, which is like California. And that's it.
Yeah.
So there's like those little hubs. So I was getting recruited by those regions of state, mostly Midwest colleges. And I got 2 offers. Both were football and volleyball to play college, which was cool. So I was submitting all these tapes and talking to coaches and like, here's my volleyball tape, here's my football tape, talking to both coaches. And fortunately, one of the schools that volleyball coach I was saying was influential knew and had some connections at Quincy University. And they were a D1 volleyball program. And then football at the time, there was dually affiliated to NAIA and D2. So I was able to play both. So we leveraged both and talked to both coaches, and they're like, we'll give you, so I got a football scholarship, I got a volleyball scholarship, and I got an academic scholarship.
That's awesome.
So I was able to play both sports.
That's cool.
And the really cool thing, another thing I recommend for young athletes too, that like multi-sport for sure. Like you played basketball, right? It translates, right? Like some aspects of basketball translate to be a better athlete in football, and some football aspects translate to be a better athlete in basketball. And it's like, so it's well-rounded, you know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah. Growing up, my dad always made me play a different sport than just football. Yeah. He said, let's go play baseball or basketball. Those are kind of the 3 I stuck to. Yeah. But yeah, for sure, definitely play multiple sports.
I agree with
that. Completely agree. Yeah.
Cool. But anyway, so that's my story about sports and stuff, and some of the behind underlying motivations of why I decided to go the sports rehab route as a sports physical therapist, because there was like a lot of things that I missed, and I'm like, man, that's fixable. I just didn't know. Right. I wasn't able to have the guidance or the way to help it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was just a bummer. So now I'm like, I can help people, especially athletes, active people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, so underlying message for you then, you would agree, young athlete, hey, I want to play D1 sport. I want to play college, right? Cool. Work on consistency. Just work hard, get after it, know what you're good at and not good at, work on your skills that you can improve on.
Totally.
Is that accurate? And then don't be afraid to play multiple sports.
Yeah, I would totally say that. Yeah, play baseball, play whatever it is, in high school, that's kind of your time to do it. Yeah. When you get to college, I know someone Troy that plays baseball and football, but it's pretty rare to do that. So.
Yeah.
But I would say high school, take advantage of it. Because that time, coming, I can't believe it's already gone for me,
High school time, yeah.
Yeah, high school. Yeah. It's over, so enjoy. On to college now. So, but it was fun though.
Man, that's awesome. For now then, wrapping this up, okay, what for freshmen coming into college to excel, right, and win favor of the coaches and the team and like do well, what recommendations do you have for incoming freshmen?
Yeah, set yourself apart for sure. Don't just follow the crowd. Don't just do the minimum, like I was saying earlier. Don't just do what's required of you. Put in the extra work. Something I learned in college was, take advantage of, opportunities where you can just go in and maybe get an extra stretch in or do a little more mobility, stuff like that. Because before I would just go and just, try to work out twice a day and, try to do twice running a day, something like that. But, take advantage of, opportunities to recover as well, something I've learned. And be ready for sudden change as well. That's something else.
What do you mean?
Like I guess you could say schedule wise, if you're planning on, the coaches may say, we're just going to do this and that. Like, hey, we're going to work out this time, run at this time. They may throw some extra meetings in, or times may change a little bit here and there. So I would say that's sudden change as well.
Just be able to adapt.
Yeah, that's a good way.
Just roll with the punches. Mm-hmm. Yeah, great point.
Yeah,
I would agree with that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, man. Well, we're going to follow you. Troy football 2024. I'm excited for football season. I mean, the draft was 2 weeks ago?
Something like that.
Like, here we go. We're getting close.
Almost that time again.
Almost there. I always love the beginning of football season, man. I always feel like I boost up my workouts like in July and August because like, football season's coming up. It's just ingrained in my brain.
Totally. No, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm putting in the work now and then get ready for the season coming up. So I'm looking forward to it a lot.
We'll follow up. We're going to follow you guys and see how you're all doing. And best of luck, man. Like that's the only thing we can ever offer, and I hope for the best. But thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me on. I really enjoy it. It's my first podcast, so
cool.
I really loved it. Enjoyed it.
I appreciate you sharing more of your stuff and your insights.
Sure.
But if y'all have any questions and you ever want to reach us, and the best way to reach me or our team is 561-899-8725, or shoot us an email at team@athleterc.com. And if you have any suggestions, questions, conflicting opinions, comments, whatever, we're always open to that. So definitely reach out. We love good, stimulating conversations. And we'll catch y'all next time.